This is Stephanie from statisticshowto.com, and in this video I'll be explaining the difference between discrete and continuous variables. If you've ever seen a scatter plot, you'll recognize this. There's a series of dots plotted on the chart. Here's a dot at roughly 1, 2, and here's one at 4, 5. This is a series of points. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 discrete points on here. There's nothing in between. There are no points in between. Like there's no variable that's at 2, 3, for example. This is blank. On the flip side, here's a continuous variable. This is a graph of -4/5 x plus 3. This is continuous because there is a variable on each point on the graph. For every x value on this graph, there's a y value. Like if I say x is 2 right here, there's a y value right here that's associated with it. On this graph, the scatter plot, there isn't a y value associated with every x value. So that's one way to look at discrete and continuous variables. Here's another way. Let's figure out if these are continuous or discrete. Is age discrete or is it continuous? How about time? Let's take a third example. Money. Now at first you might think age is discrete because you can be 31 years old, you can be 50 years old, or you can be 79 years old, but that is not correct. Age is in fact a continuous variable. Why? Let's go back to 31 years. You could be 31, you could be 31 years, 6 months, 3 days, 2 hours, 4 minutes, 100 picoseconds. You get the idea. If you tried to count, you could go on and on and on forever with smaller and smaller divisions. So age is not a discrete variable. It could be if, say, I put age on greeting cards. If you buy a greeting card, a birthday card from a store, you're going to get an age of 1, 2, 3, maybe 21. Sometimes there's cards for 50. There might be cards for 100 years old. But it's definitely a discrete variable because you don't have 31 years, 6 months, and 2 days on a greeting card. So that would be a discrete variable. So is time discrete or continuous? Time is like age, it just isn't countable. The length of this video is probably about 5 minutes by the time I'm finished. But is it 5 minutes? It might be 5 minutes and 3 seconds. It's probably not exactly 3 seconds. It might be 3 picoseconds. 3 nanoseconds. We could go on and on and on with this. In fact, if you just try to count time in picoseconds and nanoseconds, it would literally take you forever. So time is never a discrete variable. How about money? Well, you can count in dollars or you can count in cents. So you could have 1 cent and 5 cents. We could have a $10 bill. We could have $100. And if you look at it this way, money, when you have countable objects like coins or dollar bills, those are discrete. You can't get a fraction of a dollar bill or a fraction of a nickel, so those are discrete. But if you talk about money in general, if you start off with 1 cent and count up to 100 cents and keep on going and going and going until you get to say 1 million cents, you could go up to 1 billion cents, 1 trillion cents, and you could go on and on and on and never stop counting. If that's the case, then money in general is continuous. A couple of tips for being able to tell the difference between the two variables is start counting. If you could actually count the item or the object like money or age on a greeting cards, if you can come up with a finite number, let's say there might be 50 types of greeting cards. There are 7 different types of US bills. These are both examples of discrete variables. If you can count them by dots or hash marks, these are discrete variables. If it would literally take you forever, like counting time from 1 second to millions of billions of seconds. That is a continuous variable. And second, think about hidden numbers. What do I mean by hidden numbers? Well, if you think of a stopwatch. If you're wearing a wristwatch and it's telling time, you might say to yourself, oh yeah, time is continuous. But if you think about how a watch is made, inside the watch might be a little computer chip. And on that chip, there's definitely not an infinite amount of numbers. There's not an infinite amount of time. This stopwatch doesn't count up to 100 billion years. That's what I mean by hidden numbers. So time as counted by a stopwatch is discrete because of those hidden numbers. That's the basic difference between discrete and continuous variables. Visit us at statisticshowto.com for more tips and videos on elementary statistics and AP statistics.